This is Kelly. I'm at here at Dickerson Music, downtown Albion, full-line music store. Just going to have a brief little video showing you sort of the overview of restringing a guitar. This is an acoustic quart we have in stock, and it needs a new set of strings. A lot of people feel that when you're going to restring a guitar, the old strings are on the instrument. You want to loosen them first before you take them off, which just means you bring down the tension on the tuning machine so that the string is slack. When I'm usually restringing a guitar, if the customer does not want the strings back, this is usually the quickest way to take them off. Now they can pop on you, so I keep my hand on them to keep them from getting you in the eye. But this is usually the quickest way to take it off. One other thing you got to watch when you're restringing the guitar is that you don't poke yourself with the string. These thin strings in acoustic are about the size of a thick hair for the thinnest, thinner than a hypodermic needle. So it's really easy to jam your fingertip or your hand with one of those sharp ends, so just be careful. Seems like every time I do it I end up poking myself. Keep the band-aids handy. Now when I'm doing a restring, usually I end up cleaning the instrument off. Got a soft little brush here, gets the dust out of the way. And there's parts on the instrument that are hard to get to with the strings on it. I'm going to pull these pins out. I'm using the string winder that I used on the strings. It's got a little notch there to grab a hold of those pins. The other thing I'm doing is with my other arm, I've got my hand inside there and I'm pushing those pins up from the inside. Oops, there we go. So, just doing a little bit of cleaning on this. Oftentimes when you've got an acoustic guitar, or any guitar really that has the rosewood fingerboard, it's going to be dry, and it definitely will be dirty if it's something that someone's been playing. A little bit of dirt on there. So when a customer comes in and needs a guitar restrung, I almost always end up cleaning it. All I'm using for cleaning on the fingerboard is water with a little bit of clear ammonia in it. Clear ammonia tends to break up the sweat and oils from your hand and get it out of the wood. Now I'm not really soaking that wood down. It's just wet, but you can see I'm really pulling a lot of dirt out of that. And that ammonia in the water, you don't have so much ammonia in there that it's really stinky, but you want just a touch of it in there. Maybe a tablespoon of ammonia for 16 ounces of water. And what that does is that cleans all that crap out of the wood. This instrument is one that we had in stock, so it's been played by people coming in trying it out. But the strings mostly need to be replaced because they were dead from age, not because they've been played a lot. But nonetheless, there was still quite a bit of dirt on that fingerboard. So when you've done that, you let it set for a few seconds to dry. And while I'm doing that, I'll check to make sure the tuning machines are snug. These are just a little loose. That can happen when an instrument sits for a while. The wood can shrink a little bit from becoming drier. The buttons all feel pretty good. I'll take my handy little brush here, clean out underneath where the strings are. Since the strings aren't off, it's a little easier to do that. And then I'm going to take some oil. Now this is linseed oil. There are several other oils you can use to do this. We like using linseed oil. Linseed oil soaks into the wood good. It's a natural product. There are other ones that they make specifically for this purpose, but the wood on your fingerboard has never been finished. It's just bare wood. If anything, a manufacturer may done exactly what I'm doing here. Just put a little bit of oil on it. So reestablishing a little oil helps to keep that wood from drying out. Sometimes you'll see older fingerboards that they didn't really oil very well. Those fingerboards probably were not protected properly with oil, and they'll crack right along the length of the board if they get dry. So we're going to try to keep that from happening. The other nice thing about putting a little bit of oil on that I like is the fingerboard's been cleaned and that oil gets on there and kind of seals the wood so that the dirt won't stick to it as easy. So the next time I change the strings on a guitar after it's been oiled, usually that dirty fingerboard cleans up easier because the dirt doesn't get ground into the pores of the wood so much. You kind of want to work it into the corners a little bit. I've done this board once before, so I'm not going to be worried about getting enough oil on there because I know it's been oiled in the past good. And you can see that after the oil's been put on, usually I'll leave it set 5-10 minutes and go grab a coffee or something. We want it to have that nice kind of a sheen on there. You can kind of see how it's a little damp all the way around. You know, there's no dry spots that are sticking out. And once that's done, you take a rag or paper towel and we mop up the excess. You'll find that as you handle the guitar for a day or so, some of that oil might tend to come to the surface through the pores of the wood. The heat from your hand draws the oil up out of the wood, so you get these little wet spots. That's perfectly fine, that won't hurt anything. I'm going to leave that for a second, and then I'll wipe it down with another rag. Now, linseed oil in that rag, if you take that and bunch it up and stick it in a little metal container, it'll get hot enough it can start on fire. So just leave the rag set out for a day like this, and then the oil in there, as it catalyzes, any heat that's generated is just dissipated. You're not going to start a fire, but they can start fires. Usually you see it more when there's a rag that's really full.